We're now going to discuss an equation that has as its transverse axis the x-axis. We're going to graph 9x squared minus 4y squared equals 36. Now the first thing that we should notice is that the equation is not set equal to 1. To set it equal to 1, we're going to divide all three parts of the equation by 36. That will give me x squared over 4 minus y squared over 9 equals 1. What we should notice immediately is that this is an equation of hyperbola whose center is the origin and whose transverse axis is the x-axis. We know the transverse axis is the x-axis because the x squared term is the first term. Had the y squared term been the first term, then the transverse axis would have been the y-axis. The other thing that we notice is that the value in the denominator of the x squared term is 4, which means that a squared is 4, which implies that a is 2, and that b squared is equal to 9, which implies that b is equal to 3. Now, we just need to find the value of c. Well, we know that b squared equals c squared minus a squared in hyperbolas. Therefore, we have that 9 equals c squared minus 4. Therefore, c squared equals 13, and c is equal to the square root of 13. So what kind of information do we know? Well, we know that because the transverse axis is the x-axis, the hyperbola is open to the left and open to the right. Therefore, to find the vertex, we just need to go a units left and a units right of the center. Since a is 2, our vertices are going to be located at plus or minus 2, 0. How about for the foci? Well, for the foci, because the center is the origin and the transverse axis is the x-axis, I go c units left and right of the center. So the foci are at plus or minus square root of 13, 0. Now let's talk about the asymptotes. Well, to find the asymptotes, we recognize that because the hyperbola opens left and opens right, the asymptotes are going to be y equals plus or minus b over a times x. Well, b is 3, a is 2, so my asymptotes are y equals plus or minus 3/2 x. Now let's take all this information and graph our hyperbolas. We have the center is the origin. We have that a vertex is at negative 2, 0, and we have another vertex at positive 2, 0. We have a foci at negative root 13, 0. Negative root 13 is somewhere between negative 3 and negative 4, right around there. We're going to have a focus. And we're going to have a focus at positive root 13, 0, right around there. Now what we're going to do is use the fact that b is equal to 3 and a is equal to 2 to help us draw in our asymptotes. So we go up to b is 3 up here, and then draw down through the vertex. b is negative 3 down here, through the vertex. We use the vertices of these rectangles to draw in our asymptotes. So this is the asymptote y equals positive 3/2 x, and then I do the same thing for negative 3/2 x, so y equals negative 3/2 x. Finally, I'm going to use that information to sketch in the hyperbola. It opens to the right, and it opens to the left. And there's our graph.